announcement to make, and I want to explain to you what I'm doing. Hey, Big Papa, good to see you, man. How things in South Carolina? Man, I haven't seen you in a minute. Judith, good to see you. Marsha, good to see you. Good to see everybody. I'm not gonna hold you long. Um, I've got something coming up, and it's so important. That's good. I'm glad you're great. Hey, Sandra, good to see you. Good to see everybody. I don't know if I can see people anywhere else, but I can see you on Instagram. Tasha, good to see you too. Hey, Deidre, I'm technically on vacation, but something came up. Hey, Jason, good to have you tonight. Hey, Professor, oh Lord, that's kind of a throwback. Good to see you. Good to see you. Come on in. Sweetness Simmons. I haven't talked to you in 6 months, at least 6 months. Good to see you. Just give me a few minutes to welcome some folks. Hey, Hillary and Wendell, always good to see you. I missed that organ playing. Good. Hey, Vaughn, how things go today? Cassandra, hey, Gay, good to see you. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. This is like a reunion. I just want to spend a few minutes, Andrea. I want to spend a few minutes tonight explaining myself, because I've got this big event coming up tomorrow, and there are a couple of things about it that I want to say tonight to those of you who would spend some time with me that I won't say tomorrow. Give you some background, and I'm not too ashamed to ask for help. Okay, man, stop by and see me soon. I want you to, but listen, your sisters are holding me down. So, all right, good to see you, everybody. Sydney, hey, man, I'm so proud of you. Sydney, I want you to meet Vaughn McCoy. You guys are on the same track, and you two should know each other. Hey, Cassandra, good to see you tonight. Good to see you tonight. All right, what 9:02? Let me give our late. Can I give my latecomers? Hey, James, can I give my latecomers at least 2 more minutes so that I can share with you what I wanted to share tonight? I can start by saying that the topic tonight is student loans. And in 1 minute, I want to explain to you what I'm doing tomorrow. And hopefully tonight will motivate you to help us. NAACP, good to see you. Hopefully the explanation I'm going to give you tonight will motivate you to help me reach more people tomorrow. This has been, what's happening with student loans. What motivated me will hopefully motivate you, because I've been out here a long time. I was reading some articles about some protesting I did back in 1975. I mean, I've been active a long time, but something happened recently to get my attention on these student loans. Hey, Candace, SA, that's either San Antonio or South Africa. What is it, Candace? Hey, Darlene. Hey, Brother Hall, good to see you. Robin, good to have you tonight. Tracy, yeah. Candace, are you in San Antonio or are you in South Africa? Frederick Renaissance. Thank you so much. That's a very kind word. I appreciate it. John Adams. John, that's a good question. John wants to know, when will I be back on Karen Hunter? Karen, you know what? The last time I was on Karen Hunter, I was talking about this subject. And I think I came across a little too revolutionary, and she hadn't had me back. I'll ask her. I'll tell her that you want to know. But she and I are working together on a couple of things. Hey, James, good to see you. Hey, Vicky, good to see you. Hey, Maya. San Antonio. Okay, great. That's a great city. I love San Antonio. Hey, Will. Janice. All right, thank you. Stephanie from Louisiana. Great, great. Listen, let me get started because we're not having a church service. I want to share with you what I'm doing. Tomorrow at noon, I'm going to have a special 90-minute webinar. Now, first of all, those of you who know me know that generally when I do presentations, when I have events, I'm like a 1-hour guy. Last night we had a D3 board meeting. We started at 6:32. We ended at 7:31. I do not believe in just holding people and talking and chatting. I believe in taking care of business and being done with business, and that's it. But tomorrow, I'm having a 90-minute webinar on the subject of student loans. When I started D3 back in 2005, really focusing on helping people financially, my pet peeve at that time was the payday loan. A payday loan, for those who don't know, is a loan you can take out. You can borrow $300, $400, $500 very quickly. And the idea is that you'll pay it back on payday. And the problem is when you add up the fee and the interest that you have to pay in a 2-week span, the minimum interest rate is the equivalent of 390% interest. When I wrote my book, I put payday loans in there. The payday loan for me was the crack cocaine of the financial services industry. And although I have not done much marching and picketing since I was a younger guy, in about 4 or 5 states, I've literally picketed payday loan stores. Birmingham, Alabama, Kansas City, Missouri. I have traveled the country and protested the idea that it would be legal for payday loans to be given not only through stores, but online. And I have advocated with the federal government, trying to get the government to make it illegal for people to charge 300, 400, 500% interest. When my wife and I vacationed one year in Hawaii, we went to the movies, and right next to the movie theater was a payday loan store, and the interest rate started at 300%. And right on the counter in the store, it said that if you borrow a certain amount of money, you're paying 899% interest. So the payday loan has been my arch enemy. And if you want to know more about payday loans, you can go to the website for the Center for Responsible Lending in North Carolina, and they have a whole body of research on payday loans. Pew Charitable Trust has done research on payday loans, and they have discovered that the average person who takes out a payday loan needs 9 more payday loans before they pay off the original amount. And you see what happens is you can take out a $300 payday loan, but by the time you pay penalties and interest and penalties and interest, because it takes you 9 loans to get out of the original loan, you've literally paid back $1,500 on a $300 loan. It's legal, it's immoral, it's deadly, and a lot of people get caught in these traps. And so I have been on a crusade against payday loans, payday loan borrowing. And if anybody tonight is trapped in a payday loan trap, shoot me an email and I'll get you some help, because it's one of the worst feelings in the world to be, it's like financial quicksand. And so that's been my crusade. But can I tell you that while the student loan is not as expensive as the payday loan, generally, the student loan can be more crippling than the payday loan. Because what happens is we are taught that education is valuable, and it is. I believe in education. I've got 3 earned degrees. My brother has 4 earned degrees. My sister has 3 earned degrees. We believe in education. My father was a school teacher. My mother was a school teacher. I believe in education. And we believed all of our lives that education was so important that even if you had to borrow money to go to college, you should do so. But when we were taught that, we weren't taught that the interest rates on student loans could be so high that it would cripple us for life. We weren't taught that we would never make enough money to pay off the amount of money that we borrowed. And we were never taught that you should only take out minimum amounts of money. And so many of our young people now take out as much as they can borrow, even if it's more than they need to go to school. And the student loan today is affecting 45 million people. We were never taught that when we went for jobs, they check our credit scores, and sometimes our credit scores would be negatively impacted by the student loan. We were never taught that when we need a mortgage to buy a house, which appreciates in value, that the debt to income ratio would be impacted by our student loans. And we were never taught that if we got sick or hit hard times, or if there was a pandemic, or if there was a global economic meltdown and the economy just was tanked, we were never taught that even if we filed bankruptcy, that the student loan would not be discharged. And so now today, there are 45 million people in this country that have taken out student loans. Many of them have 4, 5, 7, 8 student loans, and they're having difficulty paying them back. They don't know what their options are. They've applied for forgiveness of the loans, and they've been given the runaround. And so I decided that if I am who I say I am, and if I'm going to do what I promised God I was going to do, and that is to help our people achieve financial freedom, the student loan has got to be addressed. Now, I received an email just today from a 65-year-old school teacher. And she said to me, "Reverend, thank you for addressing the student loan issue. I can't make the webinar tomorrow because I'll be teaching, but I want you to know that at 65 years old, I'm still paying off my student loan." I got another message through social media from a guy who said, "Reverend, I took out student loans in 1994, and I'm still carrying those student loans. I don't know if they're private loans or public loans. I don't know what the interest rate is. I don't know what the fees are, because what happened was he stopped paying long time ago, and the interest keeps accruing and the fees keep accruing, which means there's some people who took out $10,000 student loans 20 years ago, and today those loans are $30,000 and $35,000. The government owns these loans, and the president, when he campaigned, promised to do something about the student loan situation. So tomorrow, I'm launching 3 things tomorrow, and I need your help with this, because there are people with student loans who can pay them back, but it looks like they'll be paying for the rest of their lives. Then there are people who have student loans who have stopped paying, and when the bills come or when the letter comes, they just don't even open it because they don't have the money. It's hard enough paying rent, buying food, transportation, and caring for children, co-pays for medicine. And so when you look at the urgent issues, some of us just have enough money to survive, and therefore we've decided not to pay the student loans. So we got people paying, we got people who are not paying, who are afraid to even look to see how much they owe. And then we have people who just stop paying completely for years and don't even know how much they owe. So here are the 3 things I've committed to doing. Thing number 1 is education. There are 70 different options. I just learned this 2 weeks ago. There are 70 different options for people to choose from in a student loan repayment strategy. 70. There's 70 different things you consider. You can consider consolidating loans. You can consider restructuring your payments. You can consider making extra payments to speed up the process on paying back student loans. But the first thing is you got to know what kind of student loan you have. What I have learned is that many of us that have student loans don't know if they're private loans or public loans. We don't know what the balance is. We don't know what the interest rate is. And so the first part of what we're doing tomorrow is an educational campaign to make sure people with student loans or families that are considering taking out student loans because their kids are going to college, we're going to have a thorough explanation. We have a presentation that walks you through all of the ins and outs, the ABCs of student loans. So that's education. We're going to be educating people about options and educating people about strategies. And I've got professionals and experts who are going to take care of that part. That's number one. The second thing we're going to do is what we call advocacy. I've already begun preparing letters and petitions that we can send to our members of Congress, our senators, and to the White House to make sure they understand that whatever relief the government can offer, we expect the government to offer that relief. You know, I'm in financial services. I'm on the board of a bank that lends money to other banks. And I have watched over the last 15 to 20 years when the economy has gone up and down, I've watched the government bail out various industries for the sake of the economy. The government bailed out the auto industry. The government bailed out many of the banks. The government bailed out many insurance companies. The government has been there for various industries. And while I don't believe that government is the solution to all of our problems, the government certainly should be a solution to some of our problems, especially since the United States government owns many of our student loans. So we will be advocating, and I'll be giving you information and distributing information starting tomorrow of who you can write, what petition you can sign, because voting is just a part of our democratic right, but speaking our minds, speaking truth to power, advocating for policies that are creative and compassionate, that's also part of our civic duty. So first is education. And the second is advocacy, and we'll be describing advocacy activities tomorrow. But the third is very big. The third is assistance. I found out not long ago that there is an organization in America that serves people all over the country. They've helped 1 million people, first of all, identify how much their student loan balances are, if they don't know it. 2, identify which of those 70 strategies is the right strategy given their situation. And 3, help them develop, based on some decisions that they make, help them develop the strategy that's best for them. Now, up until now, everybody that has contacted me about participating in our program, everybody that's offered me a partnership for student loans has been people selling products. I don't need to sell products. I don't need people to give me a cut of the money they make to get them access to our people. I don't need that. I don't need any money. I'm doing this as a volunteer. Nobody paid me to do this. Nobody, it's not in my job description. I'm doing this because God told me to do it. And so I have stayed away from the student loan companies that have products to sell and that have fees to charge. But tomorrow I'll be introducing the CEO of a company that we are forming a partnership with that has 0 fees. They don't charge to talk to people. They don't charge to educate people. They have no products to sell. Somebody say no products. They have no products to sell. They have no fees to charge. And the woman who leads this business is a Cuban immigrant who herself, well, she'll tell her story. She'll give her testimony. And I asked her on the phone, why are you doing this? I can tell you why I do it. I do it because it's a part of my ministry. It's a part of my commitment to God to be a servant leader. And she told me her story about how she came here from Cuba. Her parents were poor. And she'll tell you the rest of her story tomorrow. But she's giving back based on her own experience. Listen, there's someone in your circle. There's someone in your sorority. There's someone in your church. There's someone in your family. There may be someone in your house that has a student loan or that's considering taking out a student loan. There's a way to do it that can be a blessing, but there's also a way to do it that can turn into a trap that you can't get out of. You know, when people have asked me in my travels, how do you pay off a student loan? What I have said up till tomorrow is one thing, as quickly as you can, because I happen to know that the student loan will follow you all the days of your life. And if you're in the wrong kind of student loan, or if you didn't know how to refinance your student loan, or if you couldn't get out of your student loan, when you die, your student loan will come to your funeral. It will sit with the family. It'll go to the cemetery and come back for the repast. You just can't get rid of student loans. And who wants to leave a student loan to their family as a part of their legacy? And nobody's going to set up a GoFundMe account for your family so that they can pay off your student loans after you die. This is a very, very serious issue. And I think we don't talk about it because we do value education. We believe in higher education. But the truth of the matter is, many of us would do better. Many of our children would do much better going to a 2-year community college that costs 25% or 10% in some instances of these 4-year colleges, get a 2-year degree without any debt at all, and then finishing up their education at a 4-year school. There are so many strategies that we have got to begin thinking about and spreading the word about that are being used by many immigrants that come here, and they take the system and make it work for them. So here's what we're doing. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock on mydfree.org, on Facebook Live, on YouTube, whatever social media platform you can access, you can participate in this student loan webinar. We'll do live questions and answers, and any questions we can't get to during the live session, we will answer in writing so that everybody can participate. Now, you can watch it on YouTube, and it'll be on YouTube later. But if you register, which is free, if you register and you can't make it, then we can send you a link to watch the video sometime tomorrow evening or the next day. So I would urge you to register even if you can't be there tomorrow at 12, because you can watch it tomorrow night, you can watch it over the weekend, and then we're going to do more live events with Q&A. And here's the clincher. Here's the real kicker. We will give you a link to speak to a certified counselor, so that not only will you listen to the webinar, not only can you take notes from the presentation, but you can literally make an appointment to talk to a live counselor with our new partner organization who will never charge you a fee. And you can talk through your situation with the counselor and have that counselor work with you until you can resolve your student loan situation. So it's education, it's advocacy, but it's also direct assistance if you need help. So listen, what I'd love for you to do is to go to my Instagram page, go to our Facebook page, go to mydfree.org and share on your platform, send out via Twitter, do whatever you can do to help us spread the word. Because listen, we're living in a time of tremendous anxiety. I've had to stop watching the news because every single day we see North Carolina, Minnesota, Virginia, police treating Black people as if we're not people at all. You get to a point where you're just so angry, you don't know what to do, you don't want to see anybody. But what I've learned is to take my anger and try to funnel it and transform it into activity that can bring about a positive change. We can't change every police department in America. There are 18,000 police departments, which means that every day of our lives, we've got one of us exposed to the possibility of a police department having a negative encounter with us. So we will continue to work on police reform. We'll continue to work on social justice. But while we're doing that, we're going to focus on these economic issues, because after we win the battle of social justice, we still need a strong financial foundation. And we will never have a strong financial foundation when people like that 70-year-old woman that I read about in the Washington Post are paying off student loans, when we should be enjoying retirement, when we should be traveling to see the world in the post-COVID environment, when we should be able to donate to the churches and charities of our choice. Many of us are having to pinch pennies with gray hair because of student loans. So we're going to continue fighting for social justice, but we're also going to continue building towards financial freedom. I need your help. And if you're willing to help, just put in the chat, I'm willing to help. And what I'd like you to do is something between now and 12 o'clock tomorrow to let your network know that we are on the battlefield to help liberate our people from the student loan trap. All right. So listen, thank you for joining tonight. Thank you for being a part of this little chat. Thank you, Scott, for tuning in. I see this. When I say student loans, I'm talking about Parent Plus loans also. Yes. Parent Plus loans are part of this conversation. All kinds of student loans, whatever kind of student loan you have, or your cousin has, or your auntie has, spread the word, because this technology puts us in a position to spread the word in a cost-effective way and in a quick way. So let's stand together and stand against people just being depressed and anxious because they don't know what to do with student loans. My mantra is this: the only thing worse than not having what you need is not using what you have. But if you don't know that you have what you have, you can't use it. This is a marvelous partnership. I've never been more excited about connecting our people to resources. You know, one of the blessings God has given me is he takes me places and he puts me in situations where I discover all of these resources that most people don't know about. And so what I do is I bring them out with me and spread the word, because if God has blessed me with something, I want God to bless everybody else with that same something. So listen, Dr. Abernathy, good to see you from North Carolina. You're trapped in a Parent Plus loan, $126,000. Lord help. Okay, let's see if we can help you tomorrow. Now, there is no solution that's 100% helpful to everybody, but we're going to promise you that 100% of the people who are trapped in a loan, who need help with a loan, are going to have access to a professional counselor free of charge to talk through their situation. And we will be praying for you one by one. And we'll be following up with everybody that connects with a counselor to make sure that every strategy that's available has been made known to you. And then we'll have a big celebration for all of the people that were helped. If we try, we may fail, but if we don't try, we're guaranteed to fail. And my philosophy has always been, if God can use an activity to be a blessing to one person, then it was worth all of the effort, all of the money, all of the prayers, and all of the activities that went into that effort. All right. Are there any questions I need to answer, Brian? Did I say everything about tomorrow? It's YouTube, it's Facebook, it's I think it's on my website or the D-Free website. What website can they go to register? Oh, here it is. mydfree.org. That's where you can register. And I do want you to register, because if you register, we will send you a link. If you're on YouTube, if you just kind of stop by YouTube, we won't know you're there unless you subscribe. Now, if you subscribe to my YouTube page, DB Stories, if you subscribe to my YouTube page, you'll get notified, because what we're going to do is we're going to do regular updates on how people are being helped and what resources are available and what public policy changes are being made. You know, right now, there are members of Congress negotiating with the White House over an additional resource to help people in student loans. And we're going to give you policy updates to make sure you know about it. So if you subscribe to my YouTube page, that'll be the platform that we do the student loan updates on. At least once a week, we'll be updating you on what's available, and we'll be reminding you of how to reach the certified counselors, people who are uniquely qualified and positioned to counsel you through your student loan. What you don't want to do is ignore it. And you may say, well, I haven't heard from them in 3 years. Trust me, you will. What they're doing is probably negotiating who's going to contact you. But if you never finish paying off your student loan, even if you haven't heard from them lately, it didn't go away. It did not go away. All right. Listen, thank you. I kept you longer than I planned to, but I want, this is not my job. I want you are all my friends. I can say this. I am not paid to do this. I don't have any student loans. This is my calling. And because this is my calling, I don't explain this on every platform. Because this is my calling, I have to do it because I promised God I would do it. And I promised God that I would help 100,000 Black people pay off $10,000 in debt minimum, which means that I have to keep doing this until we've paid off $1 billion in debt. We've paid off 30 million so far. And we have a whole website, and many of you know about it, the $1 Billion Paydown, where we literally track our debt payments. And as long as people are tracking their debt payments, I'm going to be urging people to get out of debt, because as long as we're drowning in credit card debt and student loan debt, we will never achieve the wealth that we have a right to achieve. All right, that's it for tonight. God bless you all. Get some sleep, and I'll see you tomorrow from 12 to 1:30. Spread the word, post it on your platforms, because the person that you help, you may be surprised, may be closer to you than you think. All right, God bless you.